Hello friends, if you have ever stood at a gate already exhausted, staring at a boarding pass for a middle seat in row 26, and quietly accepted it because you assumed you had no right to ask for something better, this is for you. 5 things most travellers over 60 have never been told about flying in 2026. One of them, the last one, is a federal law your airline is required to follow whether they mention it or not. If you have had a hip replacement, a knee replacement, a pacemaker, a bladder condition, or any documented physical limitation and you have ever paid extra just to get a seat your body could tolerate, you may have been paying for something you were legally entitled to receive for free. The law is called the Air Carrier Access Act. Most people flying today have never heard those 5 words. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to say and to whom. We will get there. We are also covering a correction most travel videos from the last year are still getting wrong. Something about a rule at every TSA checkpoint. If you are acting on the outdated version, you are doing something you no longer need to do. Quick context first. This video is for US seniors, pre-retirees, and anyone helping an older family member with air travel this year. Everything here comes from publicly available official sources: the Transportation Security Administration, the Department of Transportation, and US Customs and Border Protection, and each will be named as we go. This is educational content only. It is not legal or travel advice, and nothing here is a promise that every airline or agent will respond identically. For ongoing accommodation, needs speaking directly with your airline's accessibility team is always the right step. Subscribe now and turn on the bell when rules like these change. You will hear about it here before you encounter it at the airport. One question before we start. Has an airline ever assigned you a seat that caused real physical difficulty? A middle seat after surgery, a window with no way out? Tell us in the comments. The last item is the answer most people in that situation needed and were never given. 5 things. The 5th is where we start. Southwest Airlines moved to assigned seating on January 27, 2026. For 52 years, Southwest used open boarding, a letter, a number. You scrambled for the best seat available. That is gone. You now choose your seat at purchase like every other major US airline. If you buy the basic fare, Southwest assigns your seat at check-in. You do not choose it. That seat is almost always a middle seat near the back. For anyone with a physical limitation, this is a setup for a trip that starts in pain, unless you know about one specific channel. Pause and write this down for any airline. The channel you want is the accessibility desk, not customer service, not the main booking line. The accessibility desk is the channel connected to your federal accommodation rights. Every major US airline has one, and the number is on that airline's official website. Does anyone in your family have a flight booked this summer? Share this video with them now. The last item could save them real money. The 3rd thing is one most senior travellers have never heard of: the non-passenger gate pass. It allows a family member, a friend, or a caregiver who is not flying to accompany you through the TSA checkpoint, all the way to your departure gate and wait until you board. Not curbside through security to the gate. Same format as a boarding pass. Free. After you book, call your airline and say, "I am an older traveller and I would like to request a gate pass for a companion to assist me to the gate." On travel day, both of you go to the check-in counter. Your companion brings a real ID driver's license or a passport. The agent prints the pass. 2 things make this call at least 48 hours before travel. And arrive earlier than usual, 20 minutes to departure, and this will not work. Has someone in your family tried to accompany you to the gate and not known how to arrange it? Tell us in the comments. The first thing on this list is the correction most travel content published in the last year is still getting wrong. As of July 8, 2025, the Transportation Security Administration ended its shoe removal mandate for all travellers at US airports. Not just passengers over 75, not TSA pre-check members only. All travellers, every airport, effective immediately nationwide. If you have seen a video telling you that only the over 75 exemption applies, that guidance is outdated, if you have been removing your shoes at 75 or older because no one told you the rule changed, drop a same in the comments. You are not alone. what does remain accurate if you have a metal implant, a pacemaker, a hip or knee replacement, and you trigger the detector? You have the right to request additional screening done while seated. Pause and copy this phrase: I have a medical implant and I cannot stand with my arms raised. I am requesting to be seated for this portion of the screening. That must be accommodated, a right, not a favour, on medical liquids. The 3.4-ounce limit at TSA checkpoints does not apply to medically necessary liquids. Insulin prescription, liquid medications, nutritional supplements, saline. None are subject to it per the Transportation Security Administration. Before the belt, separate all medical liquids into any clear bag. Tell the officer these are medically necessary liquids. I am declaring them. The word declaring is the trigger. One note, write this down: insulin ice packs must be completely frozen, solid. If partially melted, the Transportation Security Administration can classify them as a liquid and confiscate them. Freeze them completely before you leave the house. The fourth thing is for anyone who travels internationally. U.S. Customs and Border Protection operates a free official app called Mobile Passport Control. Download it before your trip. Scan your passport to set up a profile, and the setup is complete. When your international flight lands, even while you are still taxiing to the gate, open the app, answer the standard customs questions, and submit. You receive a QR code. In the customs hall, find the mobile passport control lane instead of the main line. Show the officer your code and your passport, per U.S. Customs and Border Protection. The app is available at 33 U.S. international airports and 14 pre-clearance locations this year. No application, no interview, no background check, no fee for the base version. Other videos have cited global entry at $100 with months of processing. Per U.S. Customs and Border Protection, the fee is now $120, and many approvals run around 48 hours. Mobile Passport Control remains the no-cost option for anyone who travels internationally even once a year. Before the last item, consider Dorothy, a composite example drawn from a pattern that appears consistently in traveller accessibility feedback. Not one person's story, but the experience of thousands who did not know what they were entitled to. Dorothy is 70 years old, Scottsdale, Arizona. Hip replacement 8 months before a Thanksgiving flight. She bought the cheapest fare, $60 less than the next tier. Because she is on a fixed income. At check-in, she is assigned a middle seat. Her surgeon told her not to sit with the hip compressed. She pays a $45 upgrade fee because she feels she has no choice. She has never heard the phrase Air Carrier Access Act. She does not know there is an accessibility desk. One call made when she booked would have gotten her that aisle seat at no charge. Federal law required it. If that sounds familiar, if you have ever quietly accepted a bad seat because you assumed you had no leverage, stay for 90 more seconds. We planted a question at the very start. What federal law are airlines required to follow, whether they tell you about it or not? Here is the answer. The second thing, and the most important on this list. The Air Carrier Access Act is a federal law enforced by the Department of Transportation. It requires every U.S. airline to provide specific seating accommodations to passengers with documented medical needs at no additional charge. No upgrade fee. Federal law. If you have a documented condition, a hip or knee replacement, a pacemaker, a bladder condition, a mobility limitation, and you self-identify that need through the correct channel, your airline is required to block that seat for you. 2 parts. First, you must self-identify. Airlines are not required to offer this proactively, only to honour it when you ask. This is why most people never receive it. Second, go through the accessibility desk specifically. Pause and write this down. Call the accessibility desk when you book, not at the airport when you book, and say, I have a documented medical condition that requires an aisle seat. I am requesting this as a medical accommodation under the Air Carrier Access Act. Replace aisle seat with your specific need. The Department of Transportation enforces this. It applies to the basic fare. Your documented condition qualifies you not the price of your ticket. Wheelchair assistance from curbside to gate to aircraft is also covered under the Air Carrier Access Act at no charge. Request it when you book. This is the sentence Dorothy needed. This is the sentence most people paying upgrade fees for medical reasons have never been told. The gate pass gets you to your departure with support, the TSA rights, get you through the checkpoint, and this gets you into a seat your body can use. All of it is free if you know how to ask. Which of these 5 did you not know? Drop a number in the comments. If you type 2, you are not alone. 5 Southwest assigned seating, January 27th, 2026. Call the accessibility desk when you book for any medical need. 3 non-passenger gate pass lets a companion accompany you to the gate free. Call your airline after booking, arrive early. 1 shoe removal ended for all travellers, July 8th, 2025. Medical implants still trigger the right to be screened while seated. Medical liquids are exempt from the 3.4-ounce rule, separate declare. Say the word declaring for mobile passport control. The free official app from US Customs and Border Protection. Bypasses customs lines after international travel, no application, no fee. 2 Air Carrier Access Act, enforced by the Department of Transportation. Call the accessibility desk when you book and say the sentence. 3 actions before you close this. 3 Open your airline's official website, find the accessibility desk number, and call when you book, not later when you book. The Department of Transportation enforces that obligation, but only if you invoke it. 2. Download mobile passport control from US Customs and Border Protection before your next international trip. 5 minutes of setup. Free. 1. Verify what we covered here on the official websites of the Transportation Security Administration, the Department of Transportation, or your airline. Your accessibility team is the right resource for ongoing needs, and now you know to ask for it by name. If you have a parent, spouse, or sibling who has had surgery in the last 2 years, or who travels with a pacemaker or any mobility device, send them this video. Not a summary, the video. The sentence at item 2 is the one they need to write down. It could save them a seat upgrade fee on every flight they take from here forward. The next video goes deeper on flying with a wheelchair from curbside to seat TSA cares, what to do when an airline does not comply, and the one piece of documentation that makes all of it faster. The exact Air Carrier Access Act language is at the 10-minute 30-second mark, worth keeping that timestamp.